Hello, friends. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the live stream. I'm very excited today to do a best ball draft over on Drafters. We're going to be talking about basically everything revolving around this draft. So if you guys have any questions about anything revolving around fantasy football, best ball, please make sure that you leave it in the chat down below or on the side. I actually don't know where they put the chat on YouTube. I think it's on the right of me, right here. So make sure if you have a question, you leave it in the chat, and I'd love to talk to you guys about basically anything revolving around fantasy football. It doesn't just have to be best ball stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and join the draft right now, and then I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see what we are doing. Join. Bang. Alrighty, so let me share my screen now so you guys can see. I'm waiting on 11 people to join, so we might be here for some time. But if you guys have any questions, again, make sure that you leave it in the chat. All right, so I'm going to pull up my screen now so you guys can see what we're waiting on here. So, the tournament that we're going to be drafting in today on Drafters is the $20 to entry tournament. It is currently at $25,000 out of $55,000 fill. So, realistically, this tournament might not come even close to filling, and that means that it's going to have a lot of overlay, and your chances of winning are significantly higher. Now, we are still just under 2 weeks away from the season, so there is a chance that this gets to potentially 40 or 45,000 fill. But if I'm being honest with you, at this point, I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 35,000. Maybe it does end up really getting up there, but right now, unless some of the other best ball contests fill on the other website, I really think this is going to have overlay. And this is probably the best contest to join right now. If you guys want to get in on this, it's on your screen as well. You get a free $20 ticket if you deposit $20 on Drafters. So make sure you use the promo code Stochastic if you want to do that. And you also get our free best ball draft kit if you do 2 drafts over on Drafters on the $20 one. Watching the Philly-Miami preseason game has me wanting to go Tyreek in round 2. Yeah, Tyreek's a perfectly acceptable round 2 pick. I know a lot of people were nervous about the arm of Tua Tagovailoa, right? Tua threw the ball 50-plus yards down the field, and people are still mad at Tua, right? Saying, oh, you could have thrown that 3 yards deeper, and Tyreek would have went to the house. Well, guess what? He threw the ball only where Tyreek could get it, and Tyreek played well in that game. So, to be honest with you, I'm not really worried at all. I'm not worried. Need some DK best ball content. Maybe I'll fire up a stream some night and do a DK best ball draft. I have done a bunch of those already. My strategy is basically the exact same as it would be on Underdog. Any of these playoff sites, I have the same strategy. Obviously, it's PPR, so it's a little bit different. But here on Drafters, you can really just do whatever. You can kind of turn your mind off and draft, which is to me, a lot better because you don't have to worry too much about the week 17 correlation, anything crazy. You got to draft your team, and that makes it a little bit more fun. Obviously, I still think week 17 correlation could be important, and I obviously believe stacking is important, but I can do that with my brain shut off. Whereas on underdog, to me at least, I got to be a little bit more focused. Mahomes would throw short to Tyreek a lot too. He often would have to come back to get the ball. Yeah, that is very true. And that's what people are talking about. That's what Dolphins fans are bringing up. The fact that the that Mahomes wasn't really just hitting Tyreek deep down the field every single time perfectly in stride where he could just run directly into the end zone, right? There's a clip on YouTube of Patrick Mahomes bomb and he threw the ball 40 yards to Tyreek in the Super Bowl up against the Niners and people were praising that throw and he underthrew Tyreek. So, it's pretty funny how the tides kind of turn, right? When you go from Pat Mahomes to Tua. Again, I don't think Tua's as good as Patrick Mahomes. That would be an absolutely crazy person thing to say, but is it possible that Tua could be perfectly fine for Tyreek in fantasy football? Of course, that's possible. Sorry if I just fucking flashbanged you. I probably should have not shown the screen when I hit refresh. Alrighty. So if you guys want to join, make sure you do join up on here. The $20 contest. It should be a luxurious draft that we are about to do. It's going to be the one where we win the whole thing. Let's look at my teams real quick. Holmes still has the second most powerful arm in the league, though. Of course he does. I'm not trying to discredit him, obviously. And I hope you guys didn't think that when I was talking about him, that meant that I was discrediting him. I really do like Mahomes, obviously. Mahomes is he might be the best quarterback in the NFL. The guy's just amazing. Taylor CMC. Taylor or CMC at the 101. I'm taking Taylor, but if you're hunting for the most upside possible, you should take Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, could legitimately be 3 more PPR points per game better than the number 2 running back. Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, is like the most dominant player I've ever fucking seen. This guy is going to catch a million balls. He's going to run the ball a million times. And with Baker Mayfield at the helm, this team could be amazing. Or not this team could be amazing, but this is just a significantly better team, I would say, than what Christian McCaffrey has had in the past. And Baker Mayfield's fine dumping the ball off. It's not like Baker Mayfield is gun shy when it comes to dumping the ball off, like a guy like Carson Wentz is. But also, like when you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey that's that good, you're just going to give him the ball, right? There's not going to be any type of debate on if you should give the guy the ball or not. This guy's going to be very involved through the game plan, and he is going to be seeing a lot of action. Interesting to see that the Dallas Cowboys have released Cooper Rush, so they only have one quarterback, which is Dak Prescott. They released everyone else. No, I didn't already draft. The draft has not even started yet, Rimpack. Just got here like 8 minutes ago. Just been talking. CMC is going for cheaper than JT and DFS week 1. Insane. Yeah, that is crazy. I'm doing the $20 one, Rimpack. I was going to do the $5.55 one, but super flex drafts, to me, they take a little bit more thought process. And when I'm on the stream talking to a million different people, I wanted to do a regular draft as well. And I also think that the regular draft is more applicable to redraft and what we're going to be talking about. You're going to enter. Thank you, Rimpack. Yeah, I don't understand why JT is more expensive than CMC week 1. I don't get that. CMC is going up against the Browns. I mean, like, that's not an amazing matchup, but it's not like the Browns defense is the best defense in the NFL. So I drafted 11 teams already. Very nice. Very nice. Eagles saw what Tyreek did, and they had to go get another safety. That's fine. Did you guys see the clip of or the picture of the corner that was covering DB or that was covering Tyreek after the game? The dude's all fucking has ice like on his shoulder, like he just pitched 9 innings, a no hitter. Dude had to get put on ice after Tyreek cooked him up a little bit. I thought that was funny. I wish there was a way to like remove this GIF from my screen of Jay-Z. Oh, there we go. Sure. Get Jay-Z out of here, bro. It's so annoying because he's just like dancing in the corner of the screen. See if there's any other news that popped up that is even somewhat interesting here on my cellular device. I'll read it to you guys. The 49ers released Willie Snead. Nothing super weird. Cowboys cut Will Greer. Devin Asiasi has been released by the Patriots. You remember what everyone was in on Devin Asiasi 2 years ago after the Patriots drafted him? People were thinking he was the next Gronk. My boy Trace McSorley has been cut by the Cardinals. Very sad. Really no big news at all. Did you guys see this actually? This is kind of big news. Lamar Jackson liked a tweet yesterday of him photoshopped into a Dolphins jersey. Maybe the boy Lamar's coming home. I as a Dolphins fan though, I'm still sticking with Tua though. Still riding with Tua. But if Lamar came there, obviously I'd be a big fan of Lamar Jackson. It'd be a crazy take not to be. Lamar's in a weird situation right now because Lamar wants the big contract and it doesn't seem like the Ravens are going to pay him. I think Darren Waller is in the exact same situation as well, right? They're talking about Darren Waller dealing with this hamstring injury. I don't think he's actually dealing with an injury. I really believe that Darren Waller just thinks that they're not going to give, or just thinks that I have to literally hold out to get this contract. He's pulling a Le'Veon Bell. Now, I don't think he's going to go ahead and go jet ski around Florida like Le'Veon Bell did. But Darren Waller's starting to worry me a little bit. I'm starting to worry that he might not be there week one for the team unless they give him the bag. And they just gave Devontae Adams a hefty contract. I think Darren Waller deserves it, though. He has been banged up in the past, not necessarily an injury-prone player, but I highly doubt Darren Waller is ever going to play a full healthy season, right? He's probably going to be one of those guys that just misses a game or two, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but Darren Waller's an excellent player. I am just worried about the fact that he's worried about the contract and he's not going to play. That scares me. Morning, Nick. Good morning, Brad. How are you doing, man? Morning to all you guys. It's 12:20, so it's not really the morning anymore, but should be a fun time doing this. I love doing these drafts. Who should I play week one between Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper, Jalen Tolbert, and Christian Watson? Great question. I would probably play, if I'm being honest with you, I'd play Jalen Tolbert. The Tampa Bay defense is pretty solid, but when push comes to shove, this should realistically be a pretty high scoring game between the Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. So I'm pretty excited for that matchup, and I think Jalen Tolbert could play pretty well. I think if you were going to go with someone else, I'd go with Amari Cooper. I think Christian Watson is kind of out of the picture for that question because I would rather see what Christian Watson and this Green Bay Packers team does week one before I really want to be putting him in my fantasy football lineup. So I would look away from Watson. I'm going with Tolbert personally. I'm in Cali, so it still is. That's funny. Yeah, I'm in New Jersey, so it's a nice 12:22. Is it Fancy Pros? One of the sites has Darren Waller note saying that they're working on a. Oh, I did not see that, to be honest with you. But that is possible that they're working on a new contract with him. That's what I assume is happening behind the scenes, and that's just not what's being told to us, or hasn't been being told to us over the last couple of weeks. So I'm really hoping they figure something out with Darren Waller. We'll try to pull something up. Maybe we can find some news on Darren Waller, Roto World. Did they change the name back on Roto World? I don't know why the fuck they changed to NBC Sports Edge. What an awful name. All right, Darren Waller. Oh, here we go. Let's throw this on the screen. This is about to flash you, about to blind you if you were used to the dark mode. CBS Sports' Josina Anderson reports that Darren Waller has had a deal in discussion that would make him the highest paid at his position. Anderson added that this new deal would be worth $16 million per year. Waller is in the middle of changing his agent, reportedly to Drew Rosenhaus, which is, I think that's Antonio Brown's agent. So the deal may not be finished yet. However, Waller should have a massive extension before the season starts. Interesting. So maybe we shouldn't worry as much about Darren Waller. I was definitely worried. I was pretty worried, if I'm being honest with you. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I like Darren Waller, though. I think he's an excellent player. And, man, this is what makes draft season so crazy for fantasy football, because in reality, if I knew Darren Waller was or if he was for sure getting that contract, I'd move him up, but I'm still a little bit nervous slightly. Still slightly nervous. What do you guys think about the fact that Jimmy G-Spot, Jimmy Garoppolo is back with the 49ers? Does that worry you? Because for me, as someone who's been a big Trey Lance guy, someone who's been banging the drum aggressively for Trey Lance, I'm not worried at all. I think Trey Lance is going to be just fine. I think that the only way that Jimmy Garoppolo gets into a game is if Trey Lance gets hurt or if Trey Lance is just so dog shit that you just wasted your pick in fantasy anyways, right? Because the only way that Garoppolo is getting in is if Trey Lance legitimately looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. It's going to take a lot for them to bench a player that they traded so many picks for. They moved up in that draft to get Trey Lance, and people at the time mocked them. Oh, why'd you take Trey Lance? Blah, blah, blah. There's a reason why they took Trey Lance. They believe in him. So if you believe in a guy like Trey Lance, why would you ever pivot to Jimmy G? And it seems like Kyle Shanahan hates Jimmy Garoppolo. Seems like he doesn't like him. So I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo is really going to get any play this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely off. And if Trey Lance struggles slightly, Jimmy Garoppolo gets thrown into the game. But I don't personally believe that is what is going to end up happening. So I'm going to stick with my standpoint, stick to my guns that I stated earlier all offseason that Trey Lance is going to be the guy. Now, this does worry me for Trey. They just couldn't get rid of Jimmy, and it is worth it to have a good backup. Jimmy is back because Lance is inconsistent, and he got hurt last year. Justin Fields looks better this year. They could have released him. Yeah, see, they could have released him, but I think the reason why they also didn't release him is because they didn't want Seattle to get him. They view Seattle as a slight threat, and they really believe that if Jimmy Garoppolo goes to the Seattle Seahawks, then maybe he's significantly better than Drew Lock and Geno Smith, which doesn't surprise me, right? And maybe he makes Seattle more competitive, or maybe they cut Jimmy Garoppolo and Jimmy Garoppolo goes to another team that could put the 49ers in danger. So they decide, hey, let's just hold Jimmy. If Trey Lance gets hurt, we'll roll with Jimmy. If not, we're just going to go ahead and keep Trey Lance as the starter. That's how I view things. That's how I have seen people discuss things. And that's just how it is. What happened to your old channel? Trevor says, you'll see today. But yeah, for now, this is the best ball channel. This is my channel. If you want some fantasy football stuff, going over to the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel. And I will link it. Stochastic Fantasy Football channel. I've been posting a lot of content on there. I post a mock every single day on there. And then there's some additional content from me as well. Seattle is tanking. Yeah, I believe you that they're tanking. But I don't think Pete Carroll knows how to do that. So if Jimmy Garoppolo got released by the 49ers, I genuinely think that Seattle would pick him up. I'm like 100% sure that that is what would happen. There's the link to the other channel, Trevor. If Seattle wanted to compete, they would have tried for Baker, maybe. Lance was a 1 year and 1 game college starter. Not a good record for a quarterback, track record for a quarterback without playing games. Sure. But the 49ers traded up for him. That's my whole point, is the 49ers believe in him. You don't have to believe in him. I don't necessarily believe that Trey Lance is this excellent NFL quarterback, but I believe he's a great fantasy football quarterback. All right, our draft has started. I'm going to fire that up, and then we're going to go back to the screen we're on before. Boom. And we got absolutely fucked by the fact that we're at 6 and Rinpack is at 7, which makes this even more difficult. So you hate to see that. Hate to see that. Dude, Pete Carroll plays football like they're still wearing leather helmets, dude. This guy loves running the rock. He loves establishing the run. That's why I like Rashad Penny so much. The fucking Seahawks could be down by like 4 scores, like that Abe Lincoln speech, and they're still going to be running the rock a million times. The Colts have released Philip Lindsay. Interesting. I thought Philip Lindsay was pretty clearly the 3rd best running back on that team. And I thought, honestly, if Jonathan Taylor was to go down, that Philip Lindsay would see a bunch of touches, but is what it is. Guess they really believe in Taylor and Hines. Very interesting. All right, so at the 6th hole here, we're looking probably towards. I'm thinking McCaffrey, and McCaffrey has passed Jonathan Taylor and ADP on drafters, which is interesting. So that means that more people are taking McCaffrey at 101 when compared to Jonathan Taylor. Interesting. I'm thinking the top 5 here are going to be pretty consensus. I think we're going to see Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey, Cup, Jefferson, Chase off the board. And then it's going to be my decision at 6 what I want to do. And I'm not going to necessarily telegraph exactly what I'm going to do because there's a chance that someone in here is in the draft with me. I mean, I know Rinpack is, but I go before him. So I can say whatever I want. But I'm thinking there's a couple of players that I like. Explain why a 70-something-year-old man wants to stay around for a rebuild and why an organization wants him to stay around. Now, he's gone after this year. They're going to let him go out on his shield. Pete is a competitor. That's true. But I think he's done after this year, right? Pete Carroll's a nice guy, seems like. Loves to chew gum. He can go be in some fucking Trident commercials at the end of the season. But at the end of the day, basically finito for him. But that doesn't mean that I think Pete Carroll was ever like a bad coach or anything. Pete Carroll's fine. All right, take Chase. Take Chase, you motherfucker. Oh, you asshole. I wanted Eckler. So all right, we'll go Chase. We'll go Chase. I like Eckler. I don't have enough Eckler. I really think Eckler could finish as the number one running back. There's a couple of players that I'm starting to regret that I don't have more of, and it's making me enter more drafts because I don't have enough, in my opinion, Leonard Fournette. I don't have enough Austin Eckler. I think Leonard Fournette is going to end up a rim pack here up. I think Leonard Fournette is going to end up really dominating this year. I really see him being the clear number one back on the team, and that's about how it's going to go. I think Leonard Fournette's going to have a huge year. Let me text rim pack. Fuck, the wrong thing. All right, sorry. That was a great radio right there. Me just being dead silent, staring at the screen. Is this 3 wide receiver? Gonna be honest with you, I'm pretty sure it is. Let's get out of here real quick. Look on the settings. I'm like 99% sure that it is, and I just fucking flashbanged you guys again. Yeah, it's 3 receiver. 3 wide receiver. I think basically every best ball. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. Wait, I know my password, guys. I'll pull it back up in a second. Sorry, I just had to log in. All right, we back. We back. Sorry about that. I didn't know that going to the settings page would log me out. Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook start for Rinpack. Excellent start. All right, so we got Chase. I just talked about how much I want Leonard Fournette, but I don't know if I can take him over Aaron Jones. Fuck it, we're gonna do it though. We're gonna do it though. I think Leonard Fournette is going to be so good this year. I really think that Leonard Fournette is going to literally be a top end running back. He was last year. I don't think Rashad White really plays any factor into this offense this year. I think that Leonard Fournette is just better than him. Leonard Fournette has dealt with injuries in the past. Not saying Leonard Fournette's prime Barry Sanders, but I think Leonard Fournette is being underrated right now. Definitely is a reach taking him over Aaron Jones, but you want to differentiate yourself from other teams. And I think taking Leonard Fournette there does that. Yeah, most best ball sites are 3 wide receiver. I believe the only time it's not 3 wide receiver is normally the super flex ones. The super flex ones are typically 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, tight end, flex, super flex. I hardly have any Eckler, Brett. He is so small and avoid him, even though last year he was so good. Yeah, I understand he's small, but he really just is that good. Where's my dark 0 dark 30 because an ad played on my TV. It's fine though. 13 seconds, I'll be back. But yeah, I like Eckler a ton. I think Eckler is pretty not underrated because people are still drafting him as a top 5 player, but I think he should be going higher in the draft or be. All right, so we're up to pick here. The running backs are absolutely fucking disgusting. I like James Conner, but I have so much James Conner at this point that the bag's kind of been packed. I'm just gonna go with the best player available. That's Keenan Allen. Allen this year is just yet again being slept on. Keenan Allen is one of the best route runners in the National Football League. Keenan Allen is on one of the best teams in the NFL with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You don't want to be overthinking things too much in fantasy football. I know people try to galaxy brain things, but at the end of the day, I think that Keenan Allen is still going to be good. I understand he's getting up there in age, but I still like Allen this year. So nothing really too crazy besides Pitts over Andrews. I'd definitely rather have Andrews over Pitts. I think Pitts is going to have a fantastic year in Atlanta, but I think Andrews just has so much more safety with him with the exact same upside that Pitts has. So that's why I'd be taking Andrews over Pitts. I don't think it's super crazy, but normally you see Pitts go in the third round, so it is a slight reach. After go Allen, Rimpak goes James Conner, the triple running back start, Mike Williams, and Josh Allen. A little bit you see people take Josh Allen unstacked in best ball without Diggs, but I mean maybe he's hunting for Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis's ADP is crazy. Um, I'm fine taking him in the fourth round, but it's just so high. It's so high. With Michelle gone for your Dolphins, does Mostert have a clear path to success? I think Mostert had a clear path to success with Sony Michelle there. I think Sony Michelle, his role in my head and why I was drafting Sony Michelle in some drafts is when they're knocking on the door, maybe Edmonds or Mostert are tired. They throw Michelle in because Michelle's a bigger bodied running back. They're knocking on the door. He jams the ball in. Mostert, when they're anywhere on the field, they can give him the ball. Same thing with Chase Edmonds. So I think Mostert has a pretty clear path in this offense to be great. For redraft, I think it's going to be hard to want to start Mostert because I think Edmonds is going to be the clear number one guy. But I think in best ball, you're going to be seeing a lot of games where Mostert just rips off a crazy like 70-yard run and scores a touchdown, and then he's in your lineup. But for redraft, it's going to be tough to figure out when to start him. I have Pitts as tight end 1 this year. Mariota had tight end 5, 3, and 7 with the Titans. It's fine. That's fine. I definitely prefer Kelsey and Andrews over him, though. Again, I'm not saying that's a crazy take, though. He's my top drafted running back at best ball on UD. So cheap. Yeah, he is one of mine as well. I think he might be number 2 on my list. Najee Harris is one of my highest owned players. Slightly worried about his list Frank injury, but he seems like he's going to be good to go for week 1. And I'm still all aboard the Najee Harris train, if I'm being honest. Deontay Johnson is the player I wanted. So, of course, Rimpak takes him, right? Hollywood Brown, Jerry Judy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brandon Cooks. Running back, Brees Hall, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins. I just don't like these running backs. Like, a lot of people like Brees Hall. I'm not completely sold on him. I want to go Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go Terry McLaurin here. I don't have a lot of McLaurin. I don't think the Washington football team is going to be amazing this year, but I do think that Terry McLaurin is still clearly the number 1 receiver on this team. They're going to want to get him the ball, and I think that McLaurin is just in position to put up a big year. He's been in position for the last couple of years, and I think Wentz is a slight step up. Well, I do think Wentz kind of fucking sucks at the end of the day. I think he's slightly better than the other quarterbacks that they've had. Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown. I like Lamar Jackson a lot this year. I really think Lamar Jackson could be the number 1 quarterback. That's why I'm not reaching on really any quarterback. Because Herbert, Mahomes, Hurts, Murray, Lance, Burrow, all these guys I could see finishing as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. So that's why I'm not trying to pull the trigger, especially in redraft early on quarterback. I think you're really hurting your team by doing that in a redraft league. And best ball, I understand it, right? Because, I'm trying to complete this stack. None of these have been stacked plays for Mahomes, Jackson, any of that, but I understand why you might want to do that in a best ball draft. Let's see here. This team's looking pretty solid. We definitely need a running back eventually, but all these running backs are just dead in my mind. I just don't like any of these guys. I like Chris Godwin a ton this year. I know he's probably going to potentially miss maybe a week or 2, or even if he plays week 1, he's going to start off the season on the quote unquote wrong foot. Maybe he's slow to start, but I think he's going to be excellent this year. So I'm going with Chris Godwin. I'm going to continue to bang the drum for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I understand that Tom Brady looks like he just had facial reconstruction surgery. He looks absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I'm very excited about Chris Godwin this year. If Chris Godwin was fully healthy, I genuinely believe he'd be a 3rd round pick. Like, if there was no confusion about where his status will be for the first couple weeks of the season, he'd be a top 3 round pick. He would be. He might be even getting selected ahead of Mike Evans. I see Mostert as running back too, Brett, but he always gets injured. That's the issue with Mostert. He does always get injured, but if he could somehow stay healthy, if miraculously he stays healthy, he's definitely worthy of a pick in best ball. Can you make sense of the three-headed wide receiver situation in New York with the Giants? I've targeted Wandale and Tony and have almost zero Galladay. I was very heavily on Galladay early. I was thinking, dude, Galladay, he had a shit year last year, but Brian Daboll's gonna figure it out. Like, this is gonna be much better. And now it's looking like I just fucking sold because Galladay fucking sucks. He's so bad. He goes out there, he can get no separation. He gets no separation from the DB. He's getting locked down. He's locked up like that song by Akon, and he literally is terrible. I like Galladay as a player. Maybe he just doesn't want to be a Giant, but right now I would be fully fading Galladay. I used to be someone who was aggressive on attacking Galladay because I thought he was good. Turns out he's not very good. And I'm wrong. I was wrong. But yeah, I would be targeting Tony. He obviously goes significantly higher. And I like Wandale. And I'm also kind of interested in Sterling Shepard because he's been taken off the pup. I think Sterling Shepard, where does he go on here? He goes undrafted on most sites. So yeah, pick 227. I think taking a shot on Shepard with like your last pick is pretty solid as well. Kittle's up to round 5. People are afraid of Lance's arm. I'm not afraid of Lance's arm when I don't take Kittle. It's because I don't trust if Lance has that same crazy connection with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle had like a love affair, right? He was just feeding him the rock. I'm just not too sure if that's going to be the case with Lance. Now, I could be wrong. And also, the issue with Kittle is he's so good at blocking, which isn't an issue in real life, but it's an issue for fantasy, that he doesn't get as many targets. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong on Kittle. He's a great player. So I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. I'm just not too sure how things are going to happen or how things are going to work this year with Trey Lance under center. Opinion on Sky Moore. I like Sky Moore. I think he is clearly my third favorite target on that team at the wide receiver position. I'll talk about more in a second. All right. Lance in the sixth or the sixth round is pretty crazy. All right. I want to go Drake London. I like Drake London a lot this year. Opinion on Sky Moore, yes. I think Sky Moore is my third favorite wide receiver to target on the Chiefs. I think any of those guys could be the number one target, so I am targeting Sky Moore. He is a rookie, so maybe it'll be a slow start. So if you draft him, don't cut him in the first couple of weeks. I like Sky Moore. Drafted this past weekend. Can you please rate my team? Will do. 12 team PPR, pick 9. Kyler, Mixon, Swift, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Zach Ertz, Travis Etienne. I don't even know how that team is possible to draft, Chris. That team is very good. Very good. That doesn't even seem possible, if I'm being honest with you. Daniel Jones is a sneaky late round pick in best ball. I have a lot of Daniel Jones, so we're on the exact same wavelength here. Kittle will miss a month, you think? Yeah, that's very funny. That's very funny. That's true. Kittle will literally be gone for weeks. You're like, where the hell is Kittle? And he shows back up, scores 3 touchdowns in a game. That's very true. What rookie wide receiver do I have the most best ball shares of? I think it's Jalen Tolbert. It's either Jalen Tolbert or Jahan Dotson. One or the other. Because most of the time when I'm up and Sky Moore and MVS are on the screen at the same time, I just take MVS. I think he's better. So it's probably Tolbert. And Tolbert might be a swing and a miss this year, but could be a huge play for me. All right, we have Jamar Chase, so we're just going to go ahead and get Joe Shiesty. Can't believe he's still on the board here in the 7th round. Joe Burrow, excellent pick here with our correlation with Mr. Jamar Chase. And then we can get my main man, Hayden Hurst, later, too. So, yeah, he's like all the way. He's buried. I love Hayden Hurst. A lot of positive camps out of reports. I almost just said a lot of positive reports out of camp for him. So I'm liking that. Who do the Bengals play week 17? I don't have a lot of Bengals stacks. That could also be a vital mistake. Bengals schedule. Let's see here. The Bengals play up against the Bills. I should have known that because I have a lot of Bills stacks. Just want to target some of these late round Bills guys. I have 2 leagues low, one of my friends, and the one you just rated has, like, 4 of my friends and a bunch of 40-year-olds low. Oh, the old heads not knowing how to draft, I guess. My highest owned rookie is Christian Watson. You know what? That's a crazy play. I don't think Watson's very in a very good spot with this team because the fact that he missed so much time and Rodgers heavily relies on connection with the player. But I could also be wrong, and Watson could be the number one receiver on the Packers. Aaron Rodgers off a Percocet is balling, playing amazing, and then you look like a genius. That's entirely possible as well. We only have one running back here. The running backs are looking like hot shit right now, but my boy Damian Pierce is still available, so hopefully no one takes him. Probably the biggest Damian Pierce guy alive. Might have to wear his jersey to my funeral. That's just how much I like him. Alrighty. Alrighty. Hi, everyone. I'm drafting at 4 in a 12 team league. If available, should I take Eckler or Henry? I'm taking Eckler uh, all the time. Taking Eckler every time. I'm in my 21st season. People hate losing to an old guy like me. That's funny. I've been playing fantasy since 2008 when I was 8 years old. And my fantasy league, the main one that I'm in with all my friends, my dad, has been going since I was in middle school. So I think it's 10 years old this year, the main league, which is crazy. We've been playing for a while. And of course, Damian Pierce gets stolen from me. You fucking hate to see that. Let's just go Devin Singletary. I have so much Devin Singletary. It is unreal. I really think Singletary is the clear number one back there. Could end up being James Cook, but I think Singletary is going to be the guy. And I think he could score a crazy amount of points. I mean, last year, towards the end of the season, he was an upper echelon running back in fantasy. And I think that could happen this year. I mean, the Buffalo Bills offense is going to be good. And that's also some sneaky correlation with the Bills that we were talking about before. Let's see where the other Bills receivers go. Isaiah McKenzie, pick 143. We'll star him. I'm still kind of in on Jamison Crowder, but that's just because he keeps falling so far. I like Rashad Penny, but he had the exact same bye week as uh, Fournette. And if we're not going to go super running back heavy, I think that does somewhat sway my decision, especially when I like Singletary and Penny basically the exact same. My other team is PPR pick 2, and I got Hurts, Eckler, Fournette, Debo, Amon, Rob, Waller, and ETN. Super high in ETN. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I like ETN, but I'm kind of nervous about him. I don't know if this is a crazy take, but if James Robinson is healthy, like James Robinson is legitimately good. So I don't know. I don't know, but I'm still fine drafting ETN. I wish UD did a puppy 4. I thought they were going to do a puppy 4. I thought they tweeted about that when they were talking about the drafts that they were going to do. Alrighty. Let's see here. Our team is pretty fucking good, if I'm being honest. I'm really liking the team we constructed here. ETN is a good flex. I agree. He definitely is. I just think James Robinson's a pretty big value. Where is he going right now? All the way down here. Alexander Madison's a good player to bring up, actually. We're not going to draft him here, but he's been the subject of trade discussions with at least 12 teams, which means that people are talking heavily about maybe moving on from him. Maybe he goes to a different team, and that could wildly shake up the landscape of fantasy football if that does happen. Now, I actually think that if I was the Vikings, I would just let him play out this year in case something happens to Cook, because the Vikings are in a legitimately good spot to play pretty well this year. So I personally, if I was them, would not get rid of him yet. All right. I have a tight end. Let's go Knox. Let's go Knox. I know some people probably would have taken a running back there, but I like Dawson Knox a ton this year. I've talked a lot about it in the redraft mock draft videos that I've been doing on the other channel. I'm gonna go ahead and link that yet again. No free ads, but it's my video, so I'm gonna link it. I've been doing a lot of drafts, and I talk about how I like Knox a ton. I like Ertz. I like these guys, but I don't want to be reaching on them in the eighth round of drafts, right? But when they fall to this spot in the draft, I love drafting them. So pretty excited about getting him on my team personally. If ETN is used like preseason, he will be a running back one. Do you think McCaffrey balls out? I wanted JT. You can go JT number one, but I think Christian McCaffrey is going to ball out if he's healthy. The injury happened in like week 16. It did. It did. But I'm still like let's be honest with you. The Achilles, like the way this look, I'm not a doctor, right? I'm just a guy who talks about football on YouTube and on Twitter. But I think that medicine's a lot better now. Like we saw Cam Akers come back and play last year. I think James Robinson, like, I don't think if the Jaguars are a smart organization, they're not just going to roll James Robinson out there and him not be good. So again, I understand why you don't like James Robinson. I'm just saying that there is a shot where you draft ETN and this ends up being a glorified timeshare and it's a swing and a miss. And also, while ETN is good at catching, he's going to be catching passes. I think people really talk too much about his pass catching ability because he doesn't look natural catching the ball. And maybe that doesn't matter, right? He could look like a fucking dumbass catching the football. And as long as he catches it, that's all that matters. But I don't know. I'm just slightly worried about him. Fucking Boyd went. God damn it. That's what I wanted. I wanted Boyd. We're going to go Melvin Gordon. I know everyone has galaxy brained themselves into moving away from Melvin Gordon, and I get why, right? Javonte Williams is the younger guy, but there is a chance that Melvin Gordon gets more touches than people think, and Melvin Gordon ends up being very valuable in fantasy football. So that's the shot I'm going to be taking here. Again, I don't think that's a lock to happen, but I didn't really like any of the other running backs here. And now I might be taking more shots on Madison because he could get traded to a team and be putting up humongous points. And his ADP could move drastically. 33% of Knox's points were touchdowns. Can he keep it up? Maybe he doesn't score as many touchdowns, but maybe now he gets more volume with Cole Beasley as well as what's his name? Emmanuel Sanders is gone. But I think this is going to be a team that scores a lot of touchdowns. And if you believe that, which I think you do, then Knox has a good chance of repeating. I honestly believe that him and Allen have that connection. I believe so too. I mean, this late MG3 is a great pick. I completely agree with you, but I think a lot of people have just gotten scared off of Melvin Gordon. I'm not in that thought process here. We don't really have anyone we want to be stacking with here at the wide receiver position with the quarterbacks. Definitely need another running back. Definitely. Don't know if we need to do it yet, though. This is 20 rounds, so this is deeper than the other sides. You like that? I love Kirk Cousins this year. Not really. Like, I think he's going to be like a top 10 quarterback or something, but I just think he's super safe and does have some upside. And speaking of quarterbacks, my boy Kendall Hinton has been waived from the Broncos. You hate to see that. You guys remember that game last year? Or not last year, the year before when he played quarterback? That was crazy. That was crazy. I played him in my fantasy league. I was like in a spot where I needed something crazy to happen. And I said, you know what? It's Kendall Hinton time. Hmm. Don't really have any guys that are on teams that go this, or any receivers on quarterbacks that are this deep in the draft. Well, we can just kind of go backdoor Matt Ryan and then go with like Harry Campbell or Alec Pierce. So I'm not too worried. Not too worried, darling. How many receivers we got? 5. I want Julio. I like Julio. I instantly when Julio got brought to the Bucks, I was nervous. I was thinking, Julio. We saw him last year. Right? Julio was so bad last year. Julio looked like he had no idea how to play football. But I'm starting to think, and now maybe this is a galaxy brain thought process as well, right? Maybe this is a crazy thought process, and this isn't going to happen. But maybe Julio Jones is like the Gronk role on this team. Maybe Julio Jones is getting the ball thrown to him aggressively in the red zone because the defense is so worried about Mike Evans. Maybe Julio has a crazy year. Now, I could be wrong. But in the 11th round, it's not like you're trying to be super safe, right? Early on, you're basically just being as safe as possible, right? You're wrapping some metaphorical condoms around your roster. Later on in the draft, I'm fine going crazy. I'm fine taking risk. Julio Jones is a big risk, but he also has big upside. So that's just how I see things. You like that? I know you don't stream it, but are you in the DK best ball streets? Yes, I do them all the time. The UI sucks though. Like, I don't know if that's technically what it's called, the UI, but whatever. Like the draft screen, like on here, the draft screen looks really good. Like you can tell what's happening. You can see your team. You can see the players that are available. You can easily cycle through. You can search via team, like what team you're looking for, the players on those teams. On DraftKings, you can't really do anything, and they don't even have an exposure page. The website, for how much money that DraftKings has, their best ball like offering should be so much better. It's honestly crazy how bad it is when you realize how good or how much money DraftKings has. Michael Hasty has been waived by the 49ers. Interesting. Alrighty. Oh, it's the UX is what it's called. Yeah, it's so bad, and no exposures is bad. I agree. Lamar liked a tweet of him in a Dolphins jersey. Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. I think that's just like a negotiation tactic, right? Like everyone saw that, so now he thinks he has some leverage over the team. Maybe that's what happened. All right. I've got a running back in mind here, and I don't think this guy is safe even in the slightest, but we're just going for upside. Just going for upside here. And I don't want to say it because I don't want Impact to take him. Tight ends. There's a lot of tight ends here I still like. I want to get Hurst at the end of the draft. Definitely going to have to go Matt Ryan. And just start building that in the next round. Kendall Hinton waived. Yeah, that's very funny. Love my boy Kendall Hinton. Love DJ Chark here as well. Jacoby Myers had a great camp. A lot of positivity towards him. I'm going with Algier. I think Cordero Patterson is the number one back on the team, but you never know. You never know. And at the end of the day, it's a solid upside pick in the 12th round. I can't stand the Ravens, so if they fall apart, I'll be the happiest man in the world. That's funny. I'm like that with the Patriots. I hope the Patriots are fucking atrocious. As a Dolphins fan, I hate the Patriots and I hate the Jets. And it's weird because I don't hate the Bills. I actually kind of like the Bills because like my whole time growing up, the Bills were never even a challenge for the Dolphins, right? It was never a scenario where I was thinking, oh fuck, the Bills, what a scary team. But now the Bills are really good. But I still like Josh Allen a lot. I like the head coach there. So I still like the Bills. But obviously when they play the Dolphins, I'm hoping the Dolphins just absolutely destroy them. So that's just how things go. And there's no bias for me in terms of fantasy betting any of that. Actually, there isn't betting. I always bet on the Dolphins. So that was a lie. But I would advise you guys to bet on the Dolphins if I don't think they're actually going to win. I always try to keep the fantasy takes, the DFS, all that unbiased. But obviously, I'm a Dolphins fan at heart. So when I make my lineups, they're going to be Dolphins heavy, probably, especially week 1 against the Patriots, because we are going to destroy them, in my opinion. Preseason beast, Trace McSorley. Throw it all the time, like I ain't even trying. Fucking Matt Ryan got stolen. I'm a Titans fan. I appreciate the Bills. Makes sense. Titans fan that hates the Ravens. Is that I never even knew that that's a thing. Ooh, come on, baby. I know who I want, actually. I know who I want. We're just going to wait. We need another back. Need another body on the team here. Then we're going to just hammer a receiver. And then get a quarterback and another tight end. Might have to go 3 quarterback on this build, if I'm being honest with you guys. Quarterback pretty shit. I like Baker a lot, though. Do I think Tua will be good? Of course. Now, I'm not telling you that he's a top 12 quarterback in fantasy. I don't have him ranked there. I think you're kind of crazy if you have him ranked there. I think there's going to be a team that looks to run the ball. I think the Dolphins are going to be a good team. I think that oh yeah, Chris, I get it now. I remember what you're talking about now. I just think because of the regular season, I wasn't picking that up. But yeah, I remember now. I think Tua is going to be good this year. I don't think he's going to be this upper echelon fantasy quarterback, but I think he could go crazy potentially. He has a lot more confidence in him. Ronald Jones made the roster. Lamau. Yeah, I think I was kind of someone who was talking about how I think Ronald Jones was going to make the roster the whole time, and then all these reports kept coming about, oh, Ronald Jones isn't going to make the roster, and then I started to get nervous. I stopped drafting Ronald Jones. Look, Ronald Jones is just different than all the other backs they have. Pacheco, CEH, those are, and McKinnon, those are like not necessarily they're the same guy, but they have the same skill set. Ronald Jones is this big motherfucker, and they're just different. So I think Ronald Jones needed to be on the roster, and it makes sense. I like Winston, and yeah, I forgot about the dancing on the logo in the playoffs. That makes sense. That makes sense. You guys think Laviska Shenault is going to have legitimately any value in fantasy football this year? I know he went to the Panthers, but I don't see him having even an ounce of value. I just don't see it personally. You know, a tight end before the tight ends get bad. All right. You like Laviska, JT? Interesting. I'm so out on Laviska. I just don't think he's a good player. If I'm being honest, we're gonna go 3 quarterback build here. Definitely. We're just gonna grab another receiver here, and then tight end, and then just draft 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, yeah. He's definitely a backup on your team, but I just don't think he's even worth a pick, to be honest with you. Yeah, Anderson, Moore, and Marshall. I just don't think he's even worth a pick. I'm gonna go receiver here. Yeah, bye weeks. We're fine by 14. Draft another receiver. Actually, we're gonna go Marvin Jones. Even though I'm starting to really like Christian Kirk, guys. Starting to really like Christian Kirk. He played a lot with Trevor Lawrence, and he's looking like the slot guy there. I'm starting to really like him. I think Marvin Jones, though, could be a very, very sneaky 14th round pick who ends up just getting a lot of volume. The reason why Marvin Jones kind of failed last year was because the team was just so shit, right? Trevor Lawrence didn't look very good. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to look a lot better with the new head coach there, Doug Peterson. And I think just the fact that the stink that was on that roster was insane. It was just insane after uh, Urban Meyer was there. So I'm pretty in on Marvin Jones this year. And just this Jaguars offense, I'm starting to buy back in. Alrighty, so after Marvin Jones, Raheem Mostert, J.D. McKissick, Alec Pierce, Zamir White. I think we're fine with running backs we have. Maybe you want to go 6. We're definitely only going 2 tight ends because I just don't feel like drafting 3 tight ends with this team. Let's hope the boy Hayden Hurst comes back to us. One guy I've been trying to get late is Rondale Moore. He could explode weeks 1 through 6. I agree with that. I don't think Rondale Moore is going to have a great season, but the first couple of games he could really put the pedal to the metal without hop. I agree. I agree. Alrighty. You know what the worst thing about doing all these best ball drafts is once you have your real redraft league and the clock is like 60 or 90 seconds long, you feel like an absolute asshole sitting there for so long. And I know this is going to be my experience next week. Or this weekend, I have, I think, 4 drafts this weekend. And I know it is going to be dreadful for me. And I have one tomorrow. It's going to be dreadful for me to sit there and just see people taking 6 years and make a pick. Like, make your fucking pick. Like, it just, I don't know why that always pisses me off, but I guess it's because I go into the draft just so prepared, right? I do these videos every day. I'm ready to rock. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And then other people, obviously, they haven't done the preparation. It is what it is, but it just gets annoying when you're sitting there waiting to make a pick. It's frustrating. It's even more frustrating in my drafts because everyone also knows exactly what I'm going to be doing because they watch the videos and it makes it a disaster. It's a disaster. I've always been a year early on guys. Last year I was early. I was all in on CD and Rondell. I'm wondering if I'm a year early on Javante. I think this year people are going to be a year early on Javante. I'm still fine drafting him, but I think next year is really going to be where we see Javante explode. I drafted 0 wide receiver, so I load up on the back end and hope to hit on 2 in a 4 wide receiver league and work the waivers. In a 4 wide receiver league, I don't think you should be going 0 wide receiver early. In a 4 wide receiver league, I'm going 0 running back early. I'm drafting receivers aggressively. I think that's the best way to look at things. Now, again, I could be wrong, and maybe going running back early works, and it could. But personally, my idea going into it would be to go receiver early. It's frustrating when you're waiting all that time just for them to take that guy right before you. Yeah, that is the worst. See, at least here in 30 seconds, right? When you sniped, it's like, God, whatever. But when you've waited 10 minutes to make a pick and then you get sniped, it feels like the whole world is crumbling around you. It's an all-time bad feeling. All-time bad feeling. Like, see, like, women complain, no, giving birth is so painful. Like, have you ever been sniped in your redraft league on a player you love? That's even more painful, guys. We all know that. It's a joke, obviously. It's a joke, but it's very true. Very true. All right. I don't think Melvin's going to score as many points as Javante, but I think Javante is just not going to be as good as people think. And I could be wrong. He is a really good player. I just don't love the situation. I'd be grabbing Williams as my flex option. I'd be concerned if he was my RB2. Get that. Well, the league is full IDP, so I draft. Oh, gotcha. I don't like IDP. Do not like IDP at all. Can't be. I look. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the thought. Like I like the idea of IDP, and I like that people play it. I just cannot see myself doing IDP because I don't imagine watching the games and giving a single fuck about the defense. When I'm watching the football, I care about the offense. So I don't know. I mean, in the real life, obviously, when I'm watching the Dolphins, I care about how they play on defense. But every other team, I could care less. So I'm not in on IDP, but I get why people play it. What platform is this? This is Drafters. We need a quarterback. We're going Tannehill. And then we're going to hopefully get Baker. This is Drafters, the platform. This is a $20 draft, $250,000 to first place. It's a big tournament. It's not going to fill. So if you want to join, click on the link in the description. I think it's in the description. Promo code Stochastic on Drafters. If you deposit $20, you'll be given a free $20 ticket. So you can get 2 drafts for the price of 1. It's great on there. I love doing these drafts. How you doing, Vader, man? Hope you're doing well. Can we all just do a draft together after this one? I would love to do that, but I'm busy. I think maybe at the end of this week, if I have time, I'll try and fire up a stream where we do like a redraft mock. The worst snipes are after you draft a wide receiver high and then they snipe your quarterback 10 picks before ADP without having anyone to pair with them. Yeah, Brett, that happened to me on DraftKings. I did Evans in the second or the third, Godwin in the fourth, and then before things swing back to me, someone took Tom Brady in the 5th round ahead of Kyler and Lamar. Disgusting. 10-man PPR, I'm picking from 10. I have no idea what to do. I would go double running back to start off if the value's there. Just looking at this draft, if you just scroll up here, I would be, I think, could fall to you. I think Mixon, Harris start, or Henry, Harris start would be very ideal. Hell yeah, I'm gonna do it when I'm off work. Already in 20 paid leagues so far, so why not? Well, yeah, it's fun. And then you don't even have to worry about editing your lineup on here too, because it's best ball. So you just draft the team, you forget about it, and then you can come back week 17 at the end of the season and potentially win $250,000. It's just how I look at things. And plus, this is good practice. This is better than any mock draft you can do because people are actually putting $20 into this. So there's actual thought process happening behind these picks. Whereas if you go on like an ESPN draft, like people have their eyes closed basically. Oh, that's rough. Do any of you use the Yahoo platform? I've drafted on Yahoo before. Our work league at Stochastic is Yahoo. All right, we're going Baker, baby. Did you guys see what Baker said? Baker said he's going to fuck the Browns up. Love that, baby. I love Baker Mayfield. I always have. Even if he ends up sucking. I think he's funny. Kamara and Barkley start at the 10th. That'd be amazing. I don't even know how that's possible, but yeah, that is amazing. I think I can get, and it actually is possible, which is the craziest part. I think I can get Dalvin, Mixon, maybe Kamara at the 10, 11. Yeah, you definitely can. I wouldn't go Debo in the first, but I think Diggs is fine. ESPN mocks are terrible. Anyone else's audio staticky? It might be me. Let me know. Let me know, and I can try to fix it really quick. I've also been moving up and down a lot, so let me know. And also, when it gets to my pick on the clock, my computer just for some reason takes a shit when I'm on here. Normally, when I'm just sitting here by myself, it's no issue. But when I'm streaming it, my computer's a little fucking special, so it goes a little crazy. Baker was kind of balling before he got hurt. He was balling. He was balling. So I think he's a baller. I think people are discrediting him heavily. Right, so we need some more receivers, man. We can't just have 7 receivers. It's you, but not bad. Kind of choppy. Okay, I apologize. I think it is my computer, if I'm being honest with you. I have basically everything off on my computer, so there's nothing I can really I can close out of this, I guess. Closed out of some things. Maybe that's better. Sorry though. If the audio is choppy at points, it's completely on my computer. It's nothing with you. As a Panther fan, I hope Baker does fuck the Browns. It's hilarious to think how much the Browns DST is projected. I think the Browns are going to have a good game defensively, personally, but wouldn't surprise me if Baker just went ape shit. I do a lot of redraft and DFS on Yahoo. Yeah, I do Yahoo DFS as well. And one of the work league here is on Yahoo. Last year, guys, I put up an abysmal performance. I came in dead last in the work league, guys. That's the worst I've ever finished. I don't think I've ever finished last in a fantasy league before. It put immense shame on me. I felt shamed. My team was so shit. Everyone got hurt. It was so depressing. And it was hard to see because honestly, I've never been that bad at fantasy. And I wasn't even like I had a bad draft. It was just injuries went the wrong way. But this year, I'm looking to come in first. If you guys follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY, I tweet out all my teams that I do. All my redraft leagues are coming up. So I'm gonna tweet them all out. Yeah, the offense looks ass for the Browns in preseason. Myles Garrett and Davion Clowney should be good for Cleveland DFS. Yeah, Cleveland's or DST. The Cleveland defense, Cleveland as a whole has a soft ass schedule early on. Cleveland. Their schedule is very easy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Carolina, New York, the Jets, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, first 4 weeks. That's why I like the Browns defense. First 4 weeks, easy ass schedule. Nick, I'm thinking about going Mixon and Adams 10 team PPR pick 10. I like that. I like that. I love Adams this year. I think people are just discrediting him. People should not be discrediting Devontae Adams. He's still really good, regardless of the team he's in. Please let me get Terrence Marshall. No one fucking take Terrence Marshall. Same. My first 3 picks last year were CMC, Waller, Montgomery. All of them were hurt. Yeah. I think I don't even remember who was on my team. It was that unmemorable. Like everyone got hurt. My team looked completely different than when the season started. It was awful. I love that Randall Cobb pick. I really like Randall Cobb this year. Sneaky could be the #1 target on the Packers. I missed the playoffs last year with Barkley, Dak, and Galladay got hurt. And I was like a tweaker looking on waivers every day. Yeah. Fantasy football, there's a lot of skill involved, but you could also just get very unlucky and people get hurt. Yeah, I like Mixon at 10 as well. Kamara looked beast in the preseason. Yeah, Kamara's great. In my league with defense, I picked the Browns always with my last pick. Makes sense. Oh, and Mostert too last year. Yeah, unlucky. Mostert looks fast. He does look fast. Mostert always looks fast though. Mostert's gonna be one of those guys that if he can't stay healthy at the end of his career, people are gonna be like, "What could Mostert have been if he stayed healthy?" Now, again, I don't think Mostert's like a top 10 running back in the NFL, but what could Mostert have been if he didn't get hurt? Like, could he have been a guy that was pretty valuable, at least for fantasy, for a couple of years? Probably. Probably. So I want to go one more running back and a receiver to close out the draft here. I think Sony Michel's going to get picked up by someone. There's also talk about the Ravens potentially putting Dobbins on the pup. I think Mike Davis is kind of interesting. Miles Gaskin could be interesting since they got rid of um Michelle. Trey Sermon, did he get cut? This is the issue with doing the draft while everyone is making cuts because I don't know. Brian Robinson makes Washington's 53 team roster. I mean, it would be fucked up if they cut him after he got shot. The Bucks released NFL legend Nathan Peterman. You hate to see that. All right, we're gonna go receiver here. Oh, someone took my boy Braxton. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Will Fuller is dead to me. There's no taking Will Fuller. We're just gonna go running back here. We're gonna go Sermon. Sermon might end up getting cut, but I think Sermon has a decent amount of value if he stays on the Niners. Then we need a receiver. I couldn't think of a receiver that I wanted here. Hasty was cut. Yeah, I saw that. Drake way more interesting than Davis. Yeah, Drake's interesting, but he got picked for Davis. Low key heard Sermon was a standout at camp, but that might try to raise his trade value. I've heard a lot of positivity about Sermon, and I've heard a lot of negativity towards Sermon. Pretty up in the air. Had Mahomes last year when he forgot how to play football for like 6 weeks midseason. I traded him. I think then he had like 50 against the Raiders. Yeah, you can't trade away Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes will never forget about how to play football. Drafting is 95% luck and 5% skill. I would argue that it's definitely more skill than luck, but there's always gonna be luck involved. And your draft, obviously in best ball, the draft means everything. But in redraft, a lot of the way you win in fantasy is not because of the draft. What's up, Danny? Hey Nick, I drafted along with you. Pick 11. BK Eagle. Oh, what's up, man? Thank you for joining the draft. How does my team look? Besides having two tight ends with the same bye week and taking a guy that got shot, that is my first draft. I will look at your team at the end. I believe I can just pull up your team. Or I could just do it right now. Let's see. BK Eagle. You have Henry Harris. That's a great start at the beginning. I like not Damian Harris, Najee Harris a lot. Cortland Sutton, Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas, Dalton Schultz, Russell Wilson, MVS, Boyd, Stafford. Stafford, you got in the 10th. Pretty good. Albert O, Madison, Hamler, Higby, Van Jefferson, Robinson, Wilson, Mills, Edwards. I really like your team. I think you did a great job. I think it's pretty clear that if you watch my videos, which I assume you do, that you agree with my advice because you took a lot of players that I talk about. I really like Sutton, Robinson. I really like Schultz. I really like MVS and Boyd. So you basically got a lot of the players that I like. So I think your team is really good. I wouldn't worry too much about having the tight ends on the bye at the same week. I know technically at the end of the year, you're going to be pissed if the reason why you didn't win $250,000 is because of 7 points from that week. But at the end of the day, I think you're fine having two tight ends on the same bye week. I think your team's really good. I like your team. You did great. And Robinson could come back this year. I just don't, again, I'm not a doctor and I don't want to speak on something that hasn't been said. So I don't want to be like, oh, I think Robinson could come back 5 weeks in the season. I don't know. I have no idea. But they kept him on the roster. I really like your team, Brandon. I think you did a great job. Love you too, Danny. Picked up Drake in about 80% of my leagues. Yeah, I like Drake a lot. Mahomes with Tyreek reminds me of Culpepper with Randy Moss. Alrighty. We need a receiver here. We need a receiver. Just a guy. I like Amari Rogers, kind of. Henry Ruggs has killer speed. We'll go Sterling. We're gonna go Sterling. I still think Sterling Shepard is going to play this year, and with how shit Kenny Galladay has been, I think it's entirely possible that we see Sterling Shepard get some solid play time this year. Yeah, thanks, man. For sure, big fan of the content. I think that I got stacks around Stafford and Wilson. Yeah, that's what you should be doing. Great team. All right, so my team was Joe Shiesty, Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield. Running backs were Leonard Fournette, Devin Singletary, Melvin Gordon, Tyler Algier, James Robinson, Trey Sermon. Receivers are where things are looking good, right? The running backs are kind of The receivers are nice. Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Drake London, Julio Jones, Marvin Jones, the double Jones connection, Terrence Marshall, Sterling Shepard, and the tight ends are Dawson Knox and Hayden Hurst. So I like our team. Think we could have been a bit stronger at running back, but if these receivers play like right, if Godwin's good week 1 and is just healthy all year, then I think our team's going to be fantastic. So I like this team a lot. A little bit different than normal, but I was kind of mad I didn't get Eckler though at 6. I really wanted Eckler. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you. It's Paul. It's your boy Paulie Chips. Have a good day. Good luck in your draft, guys. Yeah, good luck to everyone as well. All right, so let's do Rip Hack's team too before we head on out of here. Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, James Conner. Very strong start. 3 running backs that I really like. Deontay Johnson, a receiver that I really like, and then Herbert. I really like the start. Now, you didn't stack Herbert with anyone, I don't think. Interesting, though. Interesting. J.K. Dobbins, Ginn, Hunt, Sanders. Very interesting. So 7 running backs off the rip, 1 receiver, 2 quarterbacks, a tight end, and then all receivers. This is interesting. Because normally I am someone who really likes to go and wait on the other later running backs. This is an interesting build. Because if Johnson, he needs to hit, but if one of these other players at receiver hits big, this team could be amazing. So I'm interested in this team. It's interesting. Hurst could be a sleeper. I like him. And your audio's fine, Captain Spock. I don't know, dude. It's probably my internet or my computer at points is slow. But at the end of the day, I mean, as long as the audio you can hear pretty good. I apologize though. Genuinely, it's my computer. I think. I do appreciate all you guys. I think Rimpack had a pretty solid draft. I like Brandon's draft as well. Thank you guys for watching. I love all you guys. There's gonna be a big change on this channel coming pretty soon, and you'll see. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. And make sure to subscribe to the Fantasy Football channel for all my fantasy football stuff in the chat. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your guys' day. And as always, good boy. Oh, fuck. I don't know where the button is. Oh, it's right here. Bye bye.